Precision Racing League proudly presents your American PS4 F1 Championship Series, Season number 11, full-time driver roster and manufacturer assignments. Alfa Romeo Sauber F1 Team, McSendit and Aaron Webb. Mercedes AMG Petronas Motorsports, Marquesas and D-News. Renault Sports Formula One Team, Aerostrike and Dano. Scuderia Ferrari, Nick Dahi and Aletti. Aston Martin Red Bull Racing, J-Rod and Gordau. McLaren F1 Team, K-Dog and Oxful. Haas F1 Team, Chapa and Prowler. Red Bull Toro Rosso Honda, Brian Mosser and Bubba. Racing Point Force India F1 Team, Diego and AB. Williams Martini Racing, Axton and Soldier. And that is your season number 11 full-time drivers roster and manufacturer assignments. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The Precision Racing League proudly presents your American PS4 F1 Championship Series. I'm your host for this evening, Hootius. Out there in Twitch land, you know me as Old Man Hoot. And here we go. We're back in action after a week off. For all our American fans out there, hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Everybody else around the world, I hope you had a wonderful week. Sorry we weren't here. We were busy getting fat. But that's over. We've all recovered. Naps have been had. Hangovers have been worn out. And now it's time to get back in action. This is season number 11, race number 9. When we were last in action 2 weeks ago, race number 8, France, saw one of the most incredible battles that we have ever seen in the PRL, let alone this league. It was McSendit. It was Marquesas trading the lead back and forth all race long. Upwards of 30 lead changes between the two of them. It was absolutely nuts. How could we top it? Well, simple. We go to Austria. We're here at the Red Bull Ring. This proved to be one of the most crazy races we had the first time here, season number 9 for F1 2017, where we had 5 guys battling for the lead. How can it get better than that? This time around, we have a third DRS zone, which is just going to make the overtakes that much more plentiful. It's going to be left and right, especially when you're talking about a track, as we're seeing here early in qualifying, we're looking at 1 minute and 4 seconds. While top speed, this might not be the fastest track on the schedule. Lap-wise, just how quick they're going to tick off laps, this is one of the fastest of the schedule. So, before we get you a little bit more familiar with Red Bull Ring, let's take a moment back. And first, I need to thank LSR. Yet again, a tier 1 sub. Just, that's 8 months now. 6 months, but we're going to call it Eddie anyway because I can't really see. But thank you so much, my man. I really, really love the support you give to the channel. You're fantastic. And with that now, let's go ahead and jump into the point standings real quick. Let's get everybody up to date, and then we're going to jump in and look at the track. So, McSendit is starting to run away with it. Then again, when you win 5 races in a row, this tends to happen. So he has now jumped out over Nick Dahi over 2 complete races. If Dahi wins 2 in a row, McSendit DNFs, Doesn't matter. McSendit's still going to have the points lead. That's how dominant he's been. So our top 5 has stayed the same, and then you see the bottom half of the top 10 is where a lot of the mix-up happened. We talked about France. It was McSendit and Marquez back and forth. That second place finish by Marquez jumped him up 2 spots now, and he's only 3 points out of 4th. You see he's right behind Diego. They're catching Mebe, who lost his full-time ride, but he is going to be here tonight as a reserve driver, so Mebe's still trying to hold that top 5 in points. You see Axton lost the spot to Marquez. Mystic Joker, unfortunately, cannot finish out the season. We're going to continue to see him fall eventually out of the top 10. With Aaron Webb and now Dano jumping in to the top 10. He has taken over that Renault ride for Mystic. He finds himself now in our standings. Manufacturer-wise, again, even with McSendit, though, and Aaron Webb scoring points, McSendit streaking off those wins, Ferrari is not letting Sauber fully escape. Only 31 points. I mean, if Sauber had issues and Ferrari double podiums, which is there's a very good chance that could happen because Nick Dahi has been ticking off podiums left and right this season. Aleti was 1 spot off of a podium at Spain, so it can happen. So Ferrari is keeping the fight there. Renault is going to need some help, though. They're going to have to jump up. We see Mercedes and Williams swap spots. Wouldn't be shocked if it's swapped back. Those two are close. We've got Red Bull and McLaren that are really close. And then Toro, Haas, and Force India, those guys are going to need some help if they want to get up there and start battling mid-pack. Though Force India is a team to be watching because they have a new driver. Not new to the league. He's been in reserve spots. He's gotten podiums as a reserve. It's going to be Diego filling in for Force India. Unfortunately, Ranga gave up his spot. Life takes over. We all understand it. So Ranga's loss is going to be Diego's gain and Force India overall's gain. So Diego is definitely looking to continue to score more points. All right, there we go. So we still have over 9 minutes left in qualifying. We're not even halfway there yet. So we're going to take a few moments back before we hop in and we start going over where everybody's at right now. Let's go ahead and take a quick track tour. And for anybody who's not familiar with the Red Bull Ring, let's get a more close and intimate look at the track. In the town of Spielberg is where you're going to find the infamous Red Bull Ring for tonight's Austrian Grand Prix. One lap around here is going to take you 2.683 miles, navigating 10 turns and getting access to 3 DRS zones. That is going to make overtakes plenty tonight. Alright, you're going to want to get a good run off the final turn because the front stretch, which is also the pit stretch, is a DRS zone. So while you're flooring it, you will reach your final gear and you're going to have a pretty decent braking zone here for turn 1. You want to be careful not to cut the corner or go too wide to exceed the track limits. A nice clean launch though will give you some slipstream off the car head, and here is the second DRS zone as well. This is the longest straight on the circuit. That's where you're going to try to max out 8th gear before you're hard on the brakes for the slowest corner of the circuit. After you launch off the right-hander, again, a third straight DRS zone. This is going to keep the action tight tonight, having 3 back-to-back-to-back DRS zones. At the end of the third DRS zone, you're going to have an intermediate right-hander. Now you're going to curve to the right where you still continue to floor it, but you need to hold the right side of the straight because now you're going to have a slew of left-handers. You're going to have a little bit of a short shoot between the pair of them, but trying to carry as much speed as possible without hurting the right front tire. After you go through the final S, you're going to have a bit of a short shoot. No DRS here, but you're going to have a pair of fast right-handers. It's going to be turn 9, the pit entry, and now turn 10. Again, trying not to cut the corner, trying not to go wide, getting a nice clean run so you can utilize the DRS here on the front straight. And that is a lap around the Red Bull Ring. And there you have it. There was just one lap around Red Bull. You see, it flies. I mean, 10 turns, there's 3 really long straightaways, the 3 DRS zones. Especially those DRS zones, it's going to help keep everybody grouped up. And as we're already seeing by our leaderboard here, the top spots, they are already pretty well grouped. So it could be a recipe for exciting racing. It could be a recipe for disaster. Let's face it. These guys are great drivers, but they are human. Mistakes can happen. And when you're talking inches at, 180, close to 200 miles an hour on that second straightaway, It doesn't take much to make an error that could cost you, and unfortunately maybe even cost somebody else. So the guys are really going to be riding on thin lines tonight, especially since, let's face it, your prime passing opportunities are going to be in hard braking zones. They're not going to try to dive bomb one another. But what do you classify as a dive bomb? What do you classify as a late break? That's going to be the sportsmanship that we're going to see back and forth tonight. Now, I do want to go ahead and make one shout out here. So we're seeing this name, TD Maestro. This is Diego. So he's changed his gamer tag, but this is Diego in the Force India. So, like I did with Forza and Odom's last season, when they swapped to Mystic and Marquesas, it's going to take a while. I might keep calling him Diego. We're going to have to deal with it. But all right, let's get serious for a moment. So we're 6 minutes left in quali. Guys right now are starting to finish up their second stint. As always, they're going to have 3 chances to put down a qualifying lap. And you see guys who have already completed their lap. There's not a ton of room here, and they're doing their best. There's a second guy putting himself in the grass. So the sportsmanship, the guys who are on an in-lap. Oh, and then we got a spun-out Ferrari there. McSenda is just having just an eyeful on this qualifying lap. He's got guys moving out of his way, kicking up dirt. He had a spun-out Ferrari. He's on the pole. He's trying to get a bigger buffer, and boy howdy, is this an exciting qualifying lap for him. But, like I said, the sportsmanship we have here, like, the guys aren't on a fast lap. They're trying to move out of the way. You don't have a lot of room here. You can race side by side, but not the most wide track that we have on the calendar, that's for sure. So, as you can see, that's playing a part right now in qualifying. Same in the race. If somebody has issues, breaks a wing, loses the pack, if they end up going a lap down, they've got to be really careful to make sure that, they serve their blue flags respectfully. LSO. Well, to be honest, half the time, I just know who the teams are, and I'll yell out one driver when I see a certain car. Maybe it's them, maybe it's not. So, as we're now nearing the end of the second stint, our points leader, McSendit, is on the pole. Let's go ahead now and look at our intervals. Ooh. There we go. We see Marquesas, 3/10. Dahi just within a half second. Mebe with just within 8/10. Aerostrike down in 6th. A perfect 1 second behind McSendit. Nice and clean. But here is where there's a huge gaggle. If you look from Aerostrike in 6th down to Zeke in 13th, we have, 7, 8 drivers within a half second of one another. That's what we're talking about. They're already gaggled up. That 8 drivers within a half second is close racing. Now you're going to add in 3 DRS zones. It's going to be passing back and forth nonstop. It's going to be great. Crofty always does it. Especially mid-pack. Crofty, if you're not one of the big 3, Crofty doesn't care. Though I do like for Haas, he always blames everything on Grosjean. He immediately goes to Grosjean if he sees a Haas with issues. Alright, we talked about it in the point standings. So Mebe, after a month of work interfering, he is back in action. Lost his full-time ride, though, so he's in as a reserve. The beginning of the season, he was in the Ferrari when he won the 2 races, and he held the points lead through 3. Now he's filling in for a McLaren, which would be Oxful, who has not made it tonight. Marquez is currently sitting second. Now he is on an outlap. Marquez is trying to get one more lap in. McSendit's in the pits. Dahi in 3rd in the pits. Mebe's bringing in the pits. He'll get a set of tires. So everybody now is getting that last set of tires in. The guys who are still in the pits has plenty of time. As long as they get out with about 1 minute and 15 seconds left, that way they have a little bit of cushion in case they need to move over if somebody's on their hot lap. That'll give them plenty of time to start that final lap. We've got J-Rod up in 5th right now. J-Rod has had some great qualifying efforts in his Red Bull. Unfortunately, has not had the races to go along with it. He has the speed. He's been a little bit snake-bitten. He wants to change that. Remember, J-Rod had that amazing 3rd position qualifying at Monaco, of all places. Was holding the track position, and then the tunnel curve ate him and destroyed his car. I believe it was like 10 laps into the race. So J-Rod, it's just unfortunately been the kind of luck he has this season, but he's got speed in that Red Bull. So especially now that we're at the Red Bull Ring, he would love to really improve it. So we already have a couple retirees. The Toro Rossos are done. Brian Mosser and Bubba. Brian sitting right now P9, Bubba back in P16. So they're done. They will not improve for those. As you see, though, everybody else is either on a fast lap or an out lap. And J-Rod right now starting his fast lap. While we were talking, Dano has jumped up to P5. And it looks like Dano he is elected to go one more time out as well on those tires. As he comes off the final turn, racing to the line, he does not improve on his time. So J-Rod just needs 7/100ths of a second to try to get back up into the top 5. We got Marquez. As he crosses the line, he jumps up P1. Great lap by Marquez. He's going to clip McSend it by a 10th. Now does Marquez go one more time? It looks like it. He really attacked turn 1. He's opened up DRS, so Marquez is going to do a second lap. He's got a Renault in front of him. He's trying to get slipstream to maximize that DRS. Nope, he parks it now. He thought better of it. He did not want that extra tire wear. So now the pressure's on the champ. Can McSend it get that 10th? We also have Dahi. He's out there on his flying lap as well. He is a half second behind our top 2. Bebe on his out lap, so he already got his tires changed. J-Rod, he has parked his Red Bull, so he cannot improve. Shocker, Diego down in 10th place, so he has parked his Force India. He is done. We've got Gordau and Aerostrike. Gordau right now in P7. He's already done one lap. See if he elects to go another. He went a little wide there. That might be it for his Red Bull, and it is. Aerostrike, though, coming off the final turn in his Renault. Can he jump up from P8? Yes, he can. Moving to P6. He'll be right behind his teammate Dano in 5th for right now. Dahi brings his Ferrari into the pits. He is done. McSend has held pole pretty much throughout this session up into the last lap when Marquez took it from him. McSend just needs a 10th, and he only got 3/100ths. McSend is going to stay P2. And we mentioned Dahi brought it in. Now we're looking at the McLaren of Mebe. He is the really last of the contenders out there right now. Matter of fact, I believe he is the last car overall out there. Aerostrike's car, is just limping around from AI, so it's really all on Mebe. Everybody else is either retired or taking the checkered flag already. Mebe comes off the final S. He's got 2 right-handers to go. He goes wide, though! And that's going to be it for Mebe. He went way too wide, lost the traction. Luckily, didn't crash the car, but he's going to go ahead and pull it into the pits, and that is going to be it. Marquez is going to snag the pole. He took it from on the last lap from McSend, and that's going to be Marquez's 4th pole this season. So he has 4 out of the 9. That now also gives him the lead. He was tied with McSend. They had 3 apiece. That's going to give Marquez the lead. As we're just waiting now for that timer. Unfortunately, it's a little bugged out with some of the AI cars out there rolling around, so hopefully here in this next minute and a half, something happens. We don't have to wait out this whole time. As much as we love looking at the Sauber, not exactly exciting watching it do 80 miles an hour. J-Rod, the Ricardo of the PRL confirmed. You know what? I'm pretty sure, too, if J-Rod got a win, he would definitely do a shoey. No questions. I remember when we got his podium interview, when he got his first career podium at Baku back in the last game, and he was overly ecstatic. So, yeah, if he was to get a win, it's shoeys all around. All right, just a moment. We're going to have the official leaderboard here, and it's confirmed. So Marquez snags the pole, just does edge out McSend. 65/1000ths of a second difference between the two. Dahi a half second back, but we talked about 3 DRS zones, so as long as Dahi keeps it close the first 2 laps, that 3rd lap when DRS opens up, he's going to be right in the thick of it. He's got a little gap from Mebe. Dano's going to round out your top 5, and here's where the gaggle begins behind Dano. We got Aero, J-Rod, Gordau, Aaron, and Brian Mosser. Round out your top 10. Diego, Zeke, Axton Aletti. Now, Oh, and I'm not going to get to the bottom of the field. That's all right. We'll catch him on the parade lap. Though behind Dano is where you're going to have that gaggle of 8 to 9 cars within a half second of one another. I'm going to do my best. I promise you guys, I'm going to try my best on camera to catch all the action, but I think especially if the leaders get racy, and we saw it last week, we've never seen Mick Sendit and Marquez trade the lead back and forth like that. Normally they're good. They try to they'll stay tucked in. They try to conserve tire behind one another, play little mind games, try to pull away from the field. 2 weeks ago, they didn't care about that at all. They wanted the lead, and they swapped it back pretty much every single lap. A couple laps, they swapped it back multiple times. So if they decide to get that racy again, all of a sudden that's going to benefit Dahi and Arrow and Mebe and let those guys keep up in that gaggle. And then you're going to have the whole crowd behind them trading spots back and forth. It's going to be absolutely wild. Drivers now just taking a moment. They're getting their tire strategy set, getting their fuel set. We're looking at a one-stop strategy being the race win tonight. You see guys that qualified on the Ultras. I would not be shocked if we see them go to the softs and then go to the end from there. The big thing is going to be, like we saw on the track tour, there's the two fast left-handers. That's kind of like the end of Section 2, beginning of Sector 3. Those two left-handers will do some damage to that right front tire. So they're going to want to be racy, but they're going to have to play it nice during that section. Everybody's on the grid. Now is going to start the parade lap. And this will give us a chance to go through the rear of the field also and give the guys loving that I couldn't get on the scoreboard. So, the Mercedes and Marquez up front. The Sauber of McSendit. Ferrari of Dahi. The reserve McLaren of Mebe is going to start P4. Then you've got the pair of Renaults, Dano and Aerostrike, 5 and 6. And then you've got a pair of Red Bulls right behind them, J-Rod and Gordau, 7th and 8th. Aaron Reb, this second Sauber, he's going to be a 9th. And then we got our first Toro Rosso in Brian Mosser in 10th. Now, this may have worked out. All right, so Diego apparently got teleported back to the... Oh, no, Marquez has left the session. I think we might have another connection issue. It's been so great. He had a couple races with no issues, but we'll see if he can get back in. But Diego in 11th, we know he's fast, and he is going to start on a fresh set of tires and work whatever strategy he wants. So we're going to have to keep an eye on him and how well he can move up through the field. Zeke, reserve, jumping in on the Haas. He'll start 12th. We got Axton in 13th. Not really used to seeing Axton that far back in qualifying, but he'll have fresh supers. He's going to look to gain a lot of spots. Aletti, the other Ferrari, in 14th. We got Prowler in 15th in the Haas. The other Toro Rosso, Bubba, in 16th. Soldier, the other Williams, in 17th. And we got K-Dog, who I'm pretty sure played it conservative in qualifying back in 18th. He wants to make sure he avoids some early shenanigans and keep the wing on that car. That is going to be key to gaining a lot of spots tonight. And then AB in the Force Sandia bringing up the rear of the field. So looking at Marquez, it said he left session. We'll see if he's able to load back in. At this point, if anything for Marquez, it looks like, because we've seen him be disconnected before and his car completely vanished. His car is on the grid. So even if he's not here, maybe it will load him. It's going to start off the AI. He's going to be slow as hell, unfortunately. But maybe he can jump back into this race if he's not already in. Now we're going to pay attention. We've got 3 lights, 4, 5, and lights are out. And here we go. It's hard to tell. I believe, no, Marquez is not here, so he's ghosted Mixon. It's going to take an early lead. Mebe has gotten around. Actually, so Dahi has had issues. He lost a couple spots off the grid. Not a good launch. Mebe's going to take second. Dano is up to third. He's looking to make a move on Mebe. Dahi's tucked behind both of them. J-Rod has made some early moves. You see him, he's up to fifth. As the ghost Mercedes of Odoms continues to fall through the pack. Go ahead and let's get this early position changes. We see Marquez continuing to drop. We've got a bunch of guys. Look at this. Prowler has gone up 7 spots in his Haas. Fantastic jump for Prowler. He has gained a lot of track position early. This is fantastic for him. Great start. Aaron Webb, he's up to 7th. We're going back up front. So Dahi just got around Dano. Dano had issues in the S. Dahi took advantage. Oh no, and we're having some other issues. So in the you know what? Diego's not here. That's why it was weirding out, unfortunately. So Diego's not here. We got Soldier 6. Marquez still continues to drop back. So K-Dog, he's still trying to play it clean right there. He's got his wing intact. He has 3 spots early. Looks like Gordow and Brian Mosser were the only real losers on that first lap outside of Marquez not being here. But hopping on the Toro Rosso, his wing looks clean. Gordow, his wing looks clean. It looks like the guys just maybe played it a little safe in the gaggle. And speaking of not playing it safe, we had contact there. That was between J-Rod and Dano. That's allowed both Renaults now to jump up to 4th and 5th, get around the Red Bull. McSend because of the issues that Marquez has had, and everybody else trying to get around him. So McSend has Mebe covered from DRS. This is exactly what McSend wants to see early into this race. Dahi tucked in with behind Mebe. He'll have the DRS advantage coming this lap. And Marquez is in. He has fallen all the way back to the last car running in 18th, but he is about to jump in. We're going to see if Marquez can race himself back up into the points. Our pole sitter, unfortunately, got disconnected. He is going to have a lot of track to make up now. All right, so McSend out to a lead. Then you got Mebe and Dahi with the DRS. Then a bit of a gap to the pair of Renaults. J-Rod able to keep himself with the DRS, and here we go. So if you look behind the Renaults, there is the beginning of a train for DRS happening. It looked like Arrow swinging out a little bit wide, tried not to get too huge of a run on Dano there. Didn't want to risk, any contact in the hairpin as they go into technically the second DRS zone, and here we go. Arrow got a much better run that time. He's on the inside of his teammate. Dano on the outside, though, holding strong. He is going to defend well. J-Rod's going to use that move there to try to get himself back in DRS. It's working. Aaron Webb getting himself closer to J-Rod. There is Prowler, who's still up +7. Axton has moved up +4, finding himself in 9th place. Then you got Gordow behind him. There comes the train, and Zeke and Aletti wheel to wheel. And Aletti's going to take the spot. Zeke tucks in behind him. Then you got a pair of Toro Rossos. That's Brian and Bubba with K-Dog right behind them. Let's go back up front now as Aaron Webb is starting to get a run on J-Rod. He has position going into turn 1, and he's going to take the spot. J-Rod accelerating on the curbing there. Almost lost the rear of the car. He is able to hold it. Because he had to make that pass, though, that slowed him down. So Aaron Webb does not have the DRS of the Renaults just yet. Dahi starting to fall back from Mebe now. He's trying to keep it within DRS. You see the back wing of the Ferrari is open. He's got to have a nice end sector here by the time they get to the front stretch to make sure he stays within that 1 second border. Looks like Arrow and Dano right now trying not to battle each other too hard. They do not want to allow the other guys to close back in. J-Rod not letting Aaron run away. He's trying to stay tucked in behind the Sauber. Then they got a little bit of a gap as Axton has made some moves as we were watching up ahead. So put Axton now +5. He got around Gordow and Prowler. Prowler trying to battle back, though. You see Axton taking the defensive line, goes back into the racing groove. The pair of right-handers. Several cars behind him are going to have DRS. As a matter of fact, we're going to hop on the Red Bull of Gordow. He's right on Prowler. DRS is open. Is he going to have enough of a run to make a move in turn 1? He's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. Here comes the late break. He locked it up. He's going to go a little bit wide. Push Prowler off. Now, Prowler was off track. The game may have given him an illegal overtake. We'll see what happens. As a matter of fact, yes. So Prowler had to back off. That's going to give the spot to Aletti. So Aletti was able to benefit from that battle and do a double overtake. Prowler did not have to give Gordow the spot back. He had to give 9th place back. So Prowler is able to get on the gas early and brings the fight back to the Ferrari since he has DRS. Aletti taking the defensive move here into the right-hander. Prowler was not able to make the outside stick. So Aletti's going to hold position. Prowler's going to hold 10th. Gordow right behind him. Zeke trying to catch up to this battle as well. Let's move up. Aaron Webb starting to close in. That was 2.5 seconds. 2 laps ago, he's got it down to 1.5 seconds from the Renaults. J-Rod trying to hold on to the DRS of the Sauber. He is right at the cutoff. We're going to check here on the front stretch. Is he able? And as Aaron goes a little bit wide, no. J-Rod has lost DRS. Matter of fact, up front, as we go to the battle for second, Nick is trying to hold on for dear life, but he is just on the outside of DRS from Mebe right now. McSend is able to jump out to almost a 3-second lead. And the Renaults have swap positions, so Aerostrike getting a good launch on one of the DRS straights, went ahead and got around Dano. Dano's trying not to battle back, but Dano had a mishap there on the turn and has actually lost DRS to his teammate. He's trying to get it tucked back in. And we have our first DNF, and it's going to be Soldier 6. We're hop on with Mixendit to see if we can find where the Williams driver unfortunately retired at. We're looking, it was Sector 3. And not seeing him, so unfortunately not sure what happened there to Soldier, but that's going to be our first DNF of the race. And let's go down the order. Marquez has already gained 4 spots. He now finds himself in 14th. After disconnecting on the parade lap, getting himself back in. By the time he got in, though, he was down in 18th position. He finds himself 3 seconds back after we've got a battle going on. Oh, no, it's not a battle. We've got a pit. So Brian Mosser is going to come into the pits. Gordow is in the pits. K-Dog, +6 right now. Looking good, trying to bring the fight to Bubba. Look at this 8th through 12th position right now. They're all +5, +5, +5, +5, +6. All of the guys having good early runs right now. We got another battle forming as the Williams of Axton trying to go +6, trying to take 7th place from J-Rod. Remember, Axton qualified 13th, so these super soft tires that he's on are fresh. This is going to work out as all the guys who qualified on Ultras in front of him are going to start to pit. Axton is going to be able to run these super softs decently hard and then put on a pair of softs for an easy one-stop. Oh, and we have an update. Wolves, thank you. So it was not a wreck for Soldier. He, unfortunately, just did not have a good start to the race. Racked up a couple penalties and decided to park his Williams. So, which will stink for Soldier, but would work out then for Axton because now he does not have to worry about cars stacking up in pit road with his teammate. So he'll have pit road all to himself when he decides to work his strategy. But right now, his strategy is trying to get around this Red Bull. DRS opens back up. J-Rod with a better launch off that hairpin, though. All of a sudden, now the slipstream kicks in, the DRS kicks in. It was going to be a little bit of a late break. Axton thinks better of it and backs off. So he's going to tuck in behind J-Rod. Dano now finding himself inching back in DRS of Aerostrike. So if the teammates get closer, we'll look at that. Matter of fact, let's jump back real quick. So here comes a gaggle. So Bubba trying to make a move on K-Dog, and here comes Marquez. Marquez locked it up a little bit, trying to get position on Bubba. Bubba's going to go a little bit wide, kick up a little grass. He's going to hold control of it. That'll give the spot to Marquez. Marquez now sets his eyes on the Project Cars GT3 champion, K-Dog. K-Dog, the highest mover in the race right now at +7. We're going to hop on board with the Mercedes. On the front stretch, didn't get the greatest of runs. He's going to close in. We'll see what kind of launch he gets off turn 1. Can he set K-Dog up here on the second straightaway? And I believe so. He got a great launch. DRS is open. There's the slipstream. K-Dog, he's already caught him early, so K-Dog really didn't have too much there to try to defend. Marquez takes the inside line, trying to prevent K-Dog from doing an over and under and getting that spot back. K-Dog's fighting in that McLaren. This time K-Dog's going to have DRS. Again, Marquez is going to protect the inside line. Locks him up. A little bit of wheel bang there. Both drivers are going to go wide. Is Bubba going to be able to... Nope. Bubba's a little bit too far back, but Marquez is going to take the spot. It was really... both drivers, I mean, aren't the hugest fans of one another, so they were definitely not giving each other an inch. It looked like K-Dog on Apex there may have been a little bit too far down, which caused that initial a tire touch. So normally if there's contact and a guy gains a spot by it, the sportsman thing is to get the spot back. It did not look like Marquez has initiated that tire contact, and he feels the same way, so he not worried about giving the spot back to K-Dog. K-Dog trying to keep it within DRS. He does not want Marquez running away with it. He wants that spot back. As we have more pit stops going around. So J-Rod, he's the highest of the front runners to pit early right now. J-Rod gave up 7th place. Marquez is now starting to hold the spot and pull away a little bit from K-Dog. He's got his eyes set. Oh, actually, no, excuse me. So here's the real... So I did not see this happen when we were watching other battles. Dahi pitted early. So Dahi gave up third place. He's on the softs. He finds himself in the middle of the pack now. And we have a virtual safety car, Aaron Webb. No! Where are you, Aaron Webb? Who is having such a great run. Was it coming off the S? It was. There on the left-hand side through the gravel trap is the Sauber machine of Aaron Webb. Fortunately, what had happened there, I could already tell you, is through the left hand going into the right hand S, he probably clip-curbed on the left hand, got into a tank slapper, and then boom, off track. Now here we go. For a lot of these guys, this was perfect timing. This actually really does not work out well for McSendit and Mebe, who got stuck out on the track under the virtual safety car. We've seen Aerostrike, Dano, Axton, Prowler, Marquesas, they all come into pit. Personally, too, I feel K-Dog should have used that opportunity to come in, even though he had the fresh super softs. You come in now, you take softs. That's the end of the race. That's your one pit stop. K-Dog electing to go with tire strategy. Dahi, this is going to work out great for Dahi now. We'll see how much time Dahi is able to get back on these guys when they come into pit. Now, McSendit, virtual safety car is still active, so... Oh, it just went away as McSendit's entering the pits. So McSendit trying to floor it. Mebe stays out. Mebe does not pit. So we'll keep an eye on McSendit, and we'll keep an eye on where Dahi is compared to him. McSendit comes in. There's his softs. He's going to start rolling out. Where is Dahi? Oh, this did not benefit Dahi as much as I thought it would, as he is just now coming off the final turn. And McSendit has exited pit road. So really, it ended up being a bit of a wash between Dahi and McSendit. We'll have to see what happens with Mebe, who elects to stay out another lap. But now this works out for everybody else who were able to pit. Which really stunk was that cost J-Rod several spots, since he had to pit earlier, and the cars in front of him were able to pit under that virtual safety car. We see some penalties starting to form. Brian Mosser gets a 3-second penalty for track limits. Aaron Webb joins us in chat. Unfortunately, he's heartbroken. He had a fast Sauber. He knew it. He was feeling comfortable. That's the thing with Red Bull. It's not an overly complicated track, but you are putting your car to the limit a lot around this track. So all it takes is one little wiggle. One little wiggle, and it's gone, especially in that S. Now, this virtual safety car, too, also did a number on the field, as I was not expecting that this early in the race. We only have one car within DRS, and that just lost it, as it was Prowler. Oh, we've got a Sector 2 yellow. Just gonna try to cycle through real quick. That may have been a car just moving out of the way, not 100% sure there, but doesn't see anybody with damage or whatnot. But here we go, Marquesas. We have no other battles going on, so we're going to hop on top of the Mercedes as he continues to trek back into the points. Remember, Marquesas grabbed the pole here. Got disconnected on the parade lap. Had to rejoin, but unfortunately, by the time he was able to rejoin, his car went all the way to dead last. So, even though he's minus 10 right now during the race... What? That looked like a Ferrari, but was it a Haas? You know what? That may have been a Haas. I saw a red nose. That may have been a Haas that was spun there. So, unfortunately, it appears to have been Zeke, who now finds himself back in 15th position. Here comes Letty. He's going to give up P5. He gets actually, a Letty going with super softs. Let's double check. This game does have a bit of a bug when it comes to tire models. Yeah, so Aletti's on the softs. I thought this was a little bit too early to go super softs. So Aletti did elect to go with the softs. He's going to come out in 8th place. And he's going to have a little bit of a gap back to Marquesas. Oh, heartbreaker. So J-Rod unfortunately broke his wing. He may have been one of the yellows. So J-Rod broke his wing, and on his way into the pits, got caught speeding. So 5 seconds on top. A little salt in the wound there for J-Rod, unfortunately. All right, and see, we still are waiting for 2 more drivers to pit. K-Dog, he qualified outside of the top 10, so those super softs that they are fresh. Now Mebe was the other one, but he elected to just pit, and unfortunately it looks like Mebe stayed out way too long on that set of tires. Let's check the tires once again. Okay, so Mebe has a graphical bug too, so he is on the softs, not super softs, and he is now 7 seconds behind McSendit. So, Mebe going a bit long on that first set of tires there. It did not work. We'll see what kind of long run speed he has, though. As Dano now gets around K-Dog. K-Dog still needs to pit. You see, he's gone 14 laps on those super softs. At this point, when he pits, he'll have the softs, and he can easily run those softs to the end. That will not be any issue whatsoever. He can pretty much run those softs as hard as he wants. We're starting to see maybe a battle starting to form here for second place. So Aerostrike just outside of DRS from Mebe. Dahi just outside of DRS from Aero. So if those 2 drivers are able to get a little bit more, close those gaps a little bit, and let DRS come into play, that will close them up quickly. Let's go back to 12th place right now. We have a battle forming, so Prowler on softs. Normally, it's a disadvantage going up against a car on ultra softs, but Gordau has 8 laps on those ultras. They're starting to fade a little bit. Prowler's going to try to take that position away from the Red Bull. As they go through the final 2 right-handers. Prowler not so strong of a run there, though. He does have DRS, but he's going to be at risk of not having it for the second straightaway unless he gets a power run. And we know those Red Bulls like to set themselves up with low wings to get as much, straightaway speed as possible. And you saw that. Gordau was able to actually pull away even though Prowler had DRS, so that's going to take away that opportunity. Let's go now up to the battle for 6. K-Dog still out there on those old tires. He now finds a mirror full of Williams as Axton has caught up to him. As they go through the S, Axton just 0.4 of a second back to K-Dog. K-Dog with some wheel spin there. You see the grip is starting to fade from his super softs. DRS is open. Axton's in the slipstream. He's getting a run on the McLaren. He's going to keep it tucked in. He was a little bit too far back there in turn 1, so he's going to keep it tucked in. He's going to wait here on the second straightaway. Again, gets the strong run. K-Dog knows there's not really anything he could do to defend there, so Axton's going to take the position. K-Dog's going to fall in. Try to use the DRS himself now. Maybe not to get the spot back from Axton, but at least try to keep himself closer. Benefit a little bit from the straightaway speed. Speaking of benefiting, it appears like Aero may be having issues here. He has fallen behind. He has lost time to Mebe, and that's allowed Dahi to close the gap. So this is a podium battle here between the Ferrari and the Renault. Aerostrike trying to hold on to it. Dahi trying to find himself back up into third where he was before the pit stops. He had a great run coming off the final corner. Look at that. Dahi with a strong effort is going to have him cleared and take the preferred line going into turn 1. Aero's going to try to attack back now. He's got DRS of his own. The move will not be there here for turn 3. We're going to see what happens in the next DRS zone. You hear the tire spin from Aero, though. Unfortunately, could not step on it the way he was hoping to. That's going to allow Dahi to pull away, and it's not going to give Aero a chance. K-Dog has finally brought in his McLaren. He is now on a fresh set of softs. He falls down to 10th place, but still in the points, and he's got a Toro Rosso right in front of her. Oh, J-Rod has retired. Let's try, it was Sector 3. Let's see, we're going to keep it here with AB. Unless we can try to find somebody who's further ahead in Sector 3. Here we go, we're going to ride with the Letty real quick. See what happened with J-Rod. Unfortunately, the game has already taken his car away. It appears to be in the same area where we saw the Aaron Webb crash. So J-Rod looks to have lost it in the S. That is going to be our third DNF of the race, unfortunately. Once again, J-Rod, a good qualifying effort, is not going to walk away with the race to prove it, though. Nick Dahi now has pulled away from Arrow. He's taken Arrow out of DRS. This now brings the closest... Actually, Zeke and Bubba, here we go. So we got a battle for 13th as Zeke has gotten around Bubba. Both drivers pretty much on equal tires. We've got K-Dog starting to close in on Brian Mosser. We'll jump to the McLaren real quick. K-Dog with the tire advantage. Brian's going to go really, really wide there. Brian's already I believe he has 2 time penalties to his name, so Mr. Mosser, he's got to be careful about going wide like that again. Those penalties are going to really, really add up, and you do not want to lose multiple spots at the end of this race when they all get counted. Brian doing well on the outside. Now it's K-Dog's turn. Can he hold the outside? He utilizes the apron there, trying to give Brian more room, and K-Dog's going to do it. Give K-Dog P9. He now finds himself, though, almost 10 seconds back of Aletti in 8th place. And Brian had issues, and that allowed Gordau to take advantage. So Gordau jumps in the 10th. However, I was about to say Gordau is now 12 laps into these Ultra Softs. So Gordau has to bring it into pit. That's going to give Brian 10th place back. Gordau from this point, I'm pretty sure he'll go with a pair of Super Softs. Yep, here comes the red tires. This will be Gordau's last pit stop. He will have the tire advantage from here, but that's a lot of track position that he just lost. He's going to need some help if he wants to get back up into the points. See Gordau falling all the way back down to 14th, and now we got a 3-car battle going on. So we're going to watch this battle for 12th between Zeke, Bubba, and Gordau. Matter of fact, we're going to hop on the Red Bull because the camera angle is really bad in that area. So Bubba has the advantage over Zeke. Gordau, oh, a little bit of contact there. So it looked to be maybe some netcode. Zeke was able to plan it down. I don't think his car truly got that sideways. But Gordau backing off. Zeke able to get a good run on Bubba. Zeke and Bubba, there we go. So I thought Gordau looked a little funny there in that turn. That's because he was serving the blue flag to McSend it. Here comes our leader. And our leader coming up on 2 guys battling for a position. Oh, no, it looked like both guys tried to give McSendit room. I'm not sure if there was contact between Zeke and Bubba, but Bubba found himself sliding off into the gravel pit as here comes Mebe. Didn't appear to be any damage on the front of the Toro Rosso. It was really hard. We couldn't tell if it was right front on left rear contact between Zeke or Bubba. But it looked like both drivers were trying to go a little wide to give McSendit room. They wanted to battle it out, but not hinder the leader. And here comes Bubba. He's going to go ahead and bring it in, even though he had 10 laps on these soft tires. Now here's something that's going to be pretty interesting come the end of this race. Mebe just got himself a 3-second penalty. Bubba electing to go. Oh, and you know what? Bubba did get some wing damage, so he's going to grab a new wing. He's going to go on Ultras, so Bubba's going to look to take those Ultras 14 laps. Well, 13 being a lap down, so we'll see if he's able to make it there. Gordau, again, was able to make it by Zeke now. So Gordau on the fresh tires looking to pull away from the Haas reserve driver. 12 seconds back, though, of Prowler. So he has a bunch of time to make up. And here comes Brian Mosser with just 15 laps in on his soft tires. He elects to go ahead and bring it in. And he's going to throw on a pair of Super Softs. Brian's serving penalty right now as well. There we go. The penalty's over. No wing change, just tires. Brian drops out of the points. He's down to 13th. This now moves Prowler up to 10th. Prowler's sitting pretty comfy right now. He's got over 10 seconds on Gordau, though he finds himself 10 seconds back at K-Dog. K-Dog has not managed to gain ground on Aletti. So K-Dog still holding in 9th. Mark Hesses, our pole sitter, through all the craziness that happened with the disconnect, going all the way to last, he finds himself currently in 7th place right now. Technically, he is -6. Really, he is +11, considering when he joined this race, he was dead last in 18th. So Marquez is trying to battle back, make it a good points night. I know he's got to be super bummed about it. He felt like he had a podium car for sure, if not a race-winning car. So it's got to be super aggravating, but trying to make the best out of a crappy situation. And he's only 2.5 seconds behind Axton. So he still has one more spot to gain. And then Axton is just 2.5 seconds in front of Dano. So if Marquez can really put the medal down here in the last 12 laps, there is 2 spots for the taking. Marquez could look at trying to get himself a top 5. Bebe, though, we talked about it. He had a 3-second penalty not too long ago. How would it play out with Nick Dahi? Ever since that penalty, though, Mebe has been flying. Dahi has lost ground. Dahi is almost 5 seconds back now. Now we're starting to see a lot of sector yellows starting to fly around. This is because now we have more guys a lap down, pulling over, respectfully serving those blue flags. At this point, field is pretty much spreading out, though Marquez is starting to close in on Axon. So let's go ahead and go down the grid. We're going to go car by car, do a quick race recap. So McSendit qualified second because of the disconnection. Took the lead right off the bat and ran away with it. The only time he lost the lead is when he pitted a few laps before Mebe. Other than that, McSendit has had a very comfy race. Nobody's even been within DRS of him. So McSendit trying to make it 6 in a row, and it's looking good for him right now. Mebe, he's +2 right now. I gave up time to McSendit pitting so late, but due to the virtual safety car, was able to hold down the spot and pull away from Dahi and everybody else. So Mebe in a pretty nice bubble for himself right now in second for a return race. He hasn't raced in 5 races. Fortunately, work interfered, but the once full-time Ferrari driver, now reserve driver, still looking to rack up podiums. Dahi qualified third, holding third down. Lost a little bit on that virtual safety car, was able to gain the positions back though. Pulled away from the Renaults, he's in his own little bubble. Though he is losing time to Mebe. We'll see if he's able to stay in front of the pair of Renaults, Aerostrike and Dano. Dano is holding strong where he was in 5th. Aero has passed his teammate and gained an extra spot, so Aero's up +2 right now. Aero's trying to close back in on Dahi. Dahi's starting to fade away later in this stint. Aero, see if he can grab him. Aero's just a little bit quicker, but and Dahi has a bad corner or whatnot. Aero could try to capitalize on it and see if maybe he can contend for another podium. The battle for 6th is now heated. Axton, who's +7 in the race. Marquez is going to try to make that only +6. He's within DRS. He's way too back for any move in turn 1. Great turn 1 for Marquez. You see he's already on the back of Axton. Axton knows, hey, he got caught way too early to try to defend on this straight. Axton's going to tuck in behind Marquez though. This is going to give Axton DRS on this straightaway right here, but Marquez is able to put the power down a lot harder than Axton. You see, even with DRS, Marquez pulls out many car lengths. He's not going to be able to close it up. That is going to secure 6th position for Marquez, who is 2.3 seconds behind Dano. And he still has 9 laps to chase down that Renault. The second Ferrari, Aletti right now, +6, having a great run after qualifying out. Marquez go wide. I think he did. So Axton was able to get the spot back, but he was nowhere near Marquez. So it looks like Marquez had some issues, went a little wide. That's going to give the spot back to the Williams. That is not what Marquez needed if he was going to try to chase down Dano. He cannot afford to have mistakes like that, costing him time out on the track. But again, back to Aletti. He's +6 right now, looking to score points in the Ferrari, having a solid run. K-Dog, the hard charger of the race, going +9. Like I said, I'm not totally shocked that K-Dog was down in 18th spot in qualifying. Lap 1 here at Red Bull can get pretty exciting, if you will. So I'm pretty sure K-Dog just wanted some breathing room in the back, let everything calm down, all the mischief, and then race his McLaren the way he wanted to. And he was able to keep the nose clean, capitalized on a lot of others' mistakes, and you see K-Dog is going to get I don't want to jinx him, but as of right now, it looks like he's going to get awarded points for that effort. And then another driver. Prowler had an insane start, going +7 on the first lap. Right now, he's only +5, and he's about to be under attack by the Red Bull. So Prowler trying to hold on to this final point, though, but Gordow's going to bring the fight to him. The thing is, too, so Gordow, though, went with the... Well, now they're showing super softs. Let's just get clarification here. No, so Gordow did go super softs. So Gordow with a pretty significant tire advantage. This is not going to look well for Prowler. Going into the first left-hander. See, oh, Gordow with a little contact there. I didn't see a piece of debris fly, though. So now Gordow with a strong run. Prowler's going to back off, and that's going to give the spot to the Red Bull. Gordow had to be very careful there not to shear off that wing and take away his chance for a point right now. Marquez has been able to get back around Axton. And I'm not sure what happened to Axton, but he did go wide, because Axton did get a 3-second penalty himself. Got more Sector 3 yellows. Again, this is more likely than not just guys serving blue flags, trying to get out of the way. Zeke has brought his Haas in. He is going to get a fresh set of Ultras to finish this race. We're going to see some guys in the back now decide to come on and take tires. It might be a cheeky move here. So these guys know they maybe had some bad race going on. They're not going to finish in the points. What do? You come in, you get the fastest tire you can when your car is at its lightest with fuel, and you go out there and you try to steal the fastest lap of the race. So we've seen that strategy happen many a times. Both Toro Rossos have done it. Brian and Bubba both had fast laps that way. We saw actually Mick send it. He had such a big lead at Monaco that he decided to do that late in the race. He had a 40-second lead, took 20 seconds of it away to come get fresh tires, so that way he could hat trick at Monaco, taking the fastest lap. So this is not something new to this league. The sportsmanship, the guys trying to one-up each other. You know, just having your name in the record book for that little stat is fun to have. Marquez, he's now within 2 seconds of Dano. So, top 5 might be in the Mercedes future after that disconnect at the start of this race. The pole sitter realistically starting back in 18th, the last car on the track, trying to make his way back up. Here comes Brian Mosser. He is electing to pit from 13th place. I think Brian might be another one, going for Ultra, seeing if he can get the fastest lap of the race. See, we got the lap down Haas of Zeke pulling over, serving blue flags. Very respectful driving. Like I said, these guys like to go wheel to wheel, but ultimately, too, showing the sportsmanship. Trying not to affect lead lap cars if you're a lap down. Whoa, Marquez with a big-time slide right there. Great counter stealer to catch it, but that cost him multiple tenths. That gave Dano a little bit more breathing room, though Marquez finished off that S very, very strong. As we're approaching 5 laps to go in this race. Marquez gains a couple more tenths right there. We see Marquez be really, really strong here in turn 1. And again, a great turn 1. He was able to get 2 tenths off Dano right there. So now it's down to a 2.5 seconds. Bubba, the other Toro Rosso, decides to come into pit. Telling you, we've got a couple guys back there trying to be cheeky. We'll keep an eye on the bottom left-hand side of the screen, seeing if we have a purple lap pop up. So it's still holding steady right now. Matter of fact, Dano, through the first half of the lap, was able to gain a little bit on Marquez. So it looks like the Renault might be more powerful on the straightaways, but we'll see what the Mercedes has here in the more technical sector of the track, if he's able to gain that time back. That 1.7 already back down to 1.5. coming off the final corner, 1.3. So it definitely looks like the Renault has the advantage the first half, but then Marquez is that much stronger on the second half. Especially there on turn 1, where again gains almost 0.2 of a second on Dano just in that one turn. He is flirting with it. Can he have DRS for the second straightaway? I believe he can. We're going to hop on board. No, he can't. He was a little bit too far back, and not only that, Dano got a great launch himself. So Dano able to hold the position now, but Marquez is still flirting. Mebe has gotten another 3-second penalty, so that's 6 seconds for Mebe. However, Dahi is over 9 seconds, about 9.5 back. So Dahi looks like he might be too far back to capitalize on those penalties of Mebe. And even though Mebe's closing the gap on McSendit, I haven't seen any penalties in McSendit's name, so McSendit knows right now with those penalties for Mebe, he's able to coast a little bit, not too worried about it. Marquez is now within DRS of Dano. Down to 3/4 of a second. Through this second DRS straight. Now you see how he's within a half second. This will be the third straight DRS for Marquez. It's going to stay around a half second here, but we've seen Marquez again seems to be stronger on this second half of the racetrack than Dano. We'll see if he's able to close it up and make a move on the front stretch. This is the closest battle for position that we have on the track right now. Marquez is 0.6 of a second. Actually did not have a good pair of left-handers in an S. He lost 1/10 to Dano, but now the DRS is open. Really, this has been the strongest part of Marquez here. Turn 1. He's 0.6 of a second back. He gained 1/10 on Dano. He's got DRS. Looking to get the slipstream on the Renault. He thought about a late break. It wasn't there. He's a little bit too far back. Oh, he had to counter himself. So rear wheel spin there for Marquez. Was not able to put the power down. That's going to give Dano some track position. He pulls away. Marquez is going to close that gap a little bit, but we've seen Marquez. He's been holding this position. And you can tell Brian and Bubba have been trying to go for the fastest lap of the race because these gentlemen have just given themselves more and more 3-second penalties for track limits. They are trying to push those Toro Rossos as hard as possible to get that fastest lap, and it's just not quite working out for them right now. One thing I'm curious, as we're coming up on a lap and a half. All right, McSendit swing's intact. I was wondering maybe McSendit got into a bit of a slap fight with a lap car or something. Maybe he had some wing damage, but no, it seems like he's just taking it easy here at the end of the race, knowing that he has a 3.5 second. Well, now it's down to 3.5 seconds. It was as high as 7 seconds at one point. He's got a cushion on Mebe, plus Mebe's penalties. So McSendit not pushing it too hard. Speaking of pushing it hard, though, Marquez cannot push it hard enough right now. He's falling back from Dano, still within DRS. But, the tires are starting to fade on him. Dano is now able to pull Marquez out of DRS. We'll see if the Mercedes says anything for the Renault here on the final lap. Speaking of which, McSendit has taken the white flag. Brian Massa with another 3-second penalty, still going for that fastest lap of the race. Matter of fact, let's look at the fastest. Actually, the fastest lap of the race right now goes to McSendit. But it was close, though. Bubba got within 1/10. So Bubba almost was able to steal the fastest lap of the race. Marquez as well. But it will not be a hat trick because McSendit did not get the pole. He just did lose it by 65 1/1000ths of a second to Marquez. Oh, no! What happened? We saw Aleti take the spot from Marquez, and then Aleti DNF'd. Oh, no! was Marquez. Something happened in the series of right-handers, so now Marquez has to pit. Aletti is DNF'd on the last lap. That's going to allow K-Dog to move up to 7th place. Gordau has taken 9th. Marquez is still in the pits. That's going to move Gordau up to 8th place. And with all that craziness, we missed it. McSennett has claimed win number 6 in a row. Mebe is going to take home 2nd place. Dahi coming off the final corner. That's going to be yet another podium for Nick Dahi. And then the Renaults are going to come in 4th and 5th. Arrow and Dano, strong runs. Axton, he's looking to go +7. As you see the debris still on the track from the accident of Aletti and Marquez. Still not 100% sure. Marquez had to have had some issues because Aletti was pretty far back from him. So Axton secures it. K-Dog now. It's between him and Marquez. And Marquez, I'm not sure what that was, as Marquez may have gotten into it with AIs who are crashing each other right now. Debris is flying everywhere because of the AI cars. K-Dog is going to bring home 7th, +11. Fantastic run from the McLaren driver, and that's going to secure 8th place for Marquez. Again, caught in an altercation here on the last lap with Aletti. Just blasted the AI of McSendit there. Just trying to move it out of the way, knowing it doesn't matter. He's got 8th place locked up. That's going to be it for Marquez. Gordau ends up gaining a spot. He'll finish 9th. And then hats off to him. Prowler, unfortunately due to Aletti wrecking out, but that's going to give a point to the Haas. So congratulations to Prowler, who had a fantastic run himself, going +5. Dano in chat, he's happy about the strong double points finish for Renault. That nice 4-5 there. And here we go. This is a podium we've seen a couple times this season, but we've got a new outfit up there. So McSendit, again, 6 wins in a row. Mebe, back for the first time in 5 races. In as a reserve now, lost the seat at Ferrari, filled in for McLaren, grabbed 2nd, and then Dahi with... I believe this is podium. Let's look at the records. That's going to be podium number 7 in 9 races for Dahi. So Dahi continuing to have strong runs, but unfortunately cannot end the winning streak of McSendit. And I got rewarded for being a broadcaster. There we go. We talked about the Renaults rounding out your top 5. Axton, K-Dog, Marquez, Gordau, and Prowler rounding out your points finishers. Zeke a lap down. Aletti with that unfortunate accident when he was trying to come to the white flag. A pair of Toro Rossos who pitted late in the race trying to steal that fastest lap with Bubba falling just a little bit short of it. AB in 15th. And then your DNFs of J-Rod, Aaron Webb, and Soldier 6. Then we had Diego as the 19th driver who unfortunately disconnected and never started this race. So... some very interesting moments here. Not exactly the race. It wasn't the race I was expecting at all. That virtual safety car seemed to spread guys out. And yeah, I mean, I was expecting a ton of overtakes tonight that just really weren't there, surprisingly. And then we got to give a shout out to McSendit, to Aerostrike, to K-Dog. 3 drivers with no penalties to their name. The only 3 who can claim that out of the 18 who participated in this race. So great job by those guys on a track where it's pretty easy to exceed limits and get yourself 3 seconds. And I want to go ahead and give some love now because I know he doesn't have a microphone, so he's not going to be able to join us in the podium. But Mebe, the return after 5 races, again, hats off on that 2nd place run. Really strong run considering that, he's been gone for a month. Comes back in, looks to be in top form. We'll wait for McSendit and Dahi to hop in Discord, and then we'll get these podium interviews up and running. Yeah, but I thought pitting for the Sauce Prowler was the right call to make. Yeah, and unfortunately, just your tire wear was a little bit too much. But, I mean, hats off to you, man. I know you probably didn't want to get the point that way with somebody wrecking on the final lap, but you really did have a strong run, and hats off to you on that start. I did not fully see what happened, but it doesn't matter. When you go +7 off the green, like, that was a hell of a start, Prowler. Awesome job, buddy. Hats off to you, man. And accident, we pretty much were flirting around, I believe, 20 the whole time. I think we peaked higher into the mid to high 20s, but like I said, I was watching the action. I didn't have my eye totally on that viewer count. And here we go. So, he's in Discord now, so we can officially start these podium interviews. For the 6th time in a row, the first man that I'm going to talk to, extend it, buddy. You're on fire, man.
What's up, buddy?
So, let's talk about it. An unfortunate... everybody was hyped after France with you and Marquesas. It looked prime after only 65 one-thousandths of a second separated you two in quali. It's like, all right, France 2.0. Let these guys trade it back and forth. But connection issues plagued Marquesas again.
Yeah, once again, man.
Once again, and that allowed you just to straight up run away with that race. You checked out, and that was it.
Yeah, just another day in the office, really, you know. No, but yeah, that's unfortunate because that would have been probably an epic battle because this is the type of track where it's really tough to just open up a gap, you know. So, yeah, we would have been another France guaranteed. So it's sad, but it is what it is.
Is what it is. So did you have any concern at all, though, because you were past pit road when that virtual safety car came out, and a lot of guys behind you were able to jump in? Were you worried that, I mean, you probably weren't going to lose the lead, but that cushion that you had was going to be gone?
A little, yeah. I was worried. Once I saw Mebby didn't make it either, though, it was like, well, I'll be fine. But I think Arrow did, and at one point I think he was in third and only like 7 seconds behind me, and I was like, where the hell did he come from? That's weird. So that's probably what he did.
But overall, my man, though, again, just like I said, man, you're the champ for the reason. 6 in a row, man. That's absolutely nuts, even for your standards.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, I mean, unfortunate, you know, that we're missing some big dogs, you know, Mystic. That's a big dog.
Yeah, for sure. But, I mean, we got Mebe back, and he still didn't have anything for you, so.
Yeah, it was a good race, but yeah.
While we're still waiting for Nick to get in here, though, next up, you're going for 7 in a row, and this is a track that you've had you have a little history with.
Oh, no.
Silverstone.
The track, oh, no.
What are you thinking? Is it going to be 7 or...
I'm maybe thinking vacation at this point.
Oh, using the bye week.
That'd be a good one to skip, that's for sure.
Oh, man.
But no, I'm not. I wouldn't do that. I can't do that. I'll be there. But hopefully not in the dirt. Because, yeah, that one, what was it, season...
It was season
7?
9.
9, yeah. It was just, like, mistake after mistake. It was like, okay, well, I lost, like, 10 positions, but I'm still in it. And then, like, crashed myself out, like, 2 laps later.
Good times. Well, again, buddy, just fantastic run you had tonight. Congratulations on yet another win, and we'll see if you can keep that streak going.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for commentating. I'm going to go grab a bite, but yeah, thanks as always, dude.
Awesome, man. It was my pleasure, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good one.
And before we bring Nick with his aliens in here real quick, I have to give a couple shout-outs. First, Aaron, 13 months with the sub. Thank you so much, brother. I can't thank you enough. Aaron Turner with the follow. Thank you, my man, for hopping aboard. And Wolves, I really appreciate the comment. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream tonight. I definitely look forward to having you back many, many more times, my man. To be honest, there's a lot that goes into the graphics and the videos, so as long as you guys enjoy it, that makes it all worth it to me. All right, now if we can get him unmuted. There we go.
Perfect timing.
Hi, Nick.
How's it going there, Hoot?
Well, it seemed like yet another race where you were kind of in your P3 bubble, but you found yourself on the wrong side of that virtual safety car. Was there really some... Did doubt ever kind of kick in there where, I mean, Arrow was in front of you. You had to run him down and get by him.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of doubt, to be honest, because the first doubt was that I pitted on lap 9 because my Ultras, like, I was almost losing the car in the third sector. So I pit, and then as soon as I came out, the VSC came out, and I swear that was like the longest VSC of all time. I mean, at least it felt like it to me.
That really did seem like a long one, too, because it seemed to work out for that gaggle in front of you. Like, there was 5 or 6 cars immediately jumped in the pit when the VSC came out. I'm like, okay, this will work out for them. It's going to suck for maybe McSendit. And then McSendit pretty much came all the way back around and jumped in right as the VSC ended. I'm like, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, so then when I saw that Renault dot in front of me, I was like, man, I'm really going to have to push. So I managed to make it work. I had pretty good pace at the beginning, and then I knew I had to pull that 3-second gap because I got a 3-second penalty.
Oh, you had a penalty.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure if Arrow had one. So then I realized, man, I think he got it back to 2 seconds, and I realized I had to get it back up past 3. So I got it up to 4, but then he must have had one in the end, huh?
Actually, no, I think his tires just kind of fell off. He did not. He was one of 3 of the clean drivers. So it did work out in your favor that you did push.
Oh, okay, good. But yeah, it was tough, man. I almost didn't make it around the last 2 corners in sector 3 because my rears were like at 80%.
Nice.
So I'm actually didn't get a puncture, I think. So
I want to make that an award of who has like the highest single percentage tire at any point in the race.
I think my rear left was like at 82, but yeah, it was like driving on ice at the end.
Oh, I can imagine. There's no way to like put the accelerator down.
Nope.
But my man, congratulations. That's your 7th podium in 9 races. But we're now headed to a track where you're a little familiar with that top step. What do you say? Can you do it? Can you knock McSendit off? Can you get the win next week at Silverstone?
Probably not, but if any track I could do it at, I guess this would be it. So we'll see. I don't know. It all depends, from game to game. I can be better and worse at tracks, but I don't know. If I could just get above a P3 again, that'd be kind of nice.
Well, I know a lot of guys are going to be rooting for you on that, so I try not to be biased. Maybe I'm one of them. So, love McSendit, but somebody's got to take him down, so.
One of these days I'll get lucky. I can get
one of these days. But again, congratulations, though. Like I said, hats off to you. Another podium. You're having a fantastic season. We'll get you those couple steps up. We'll get you there, bud.
Thanks, Sue. Whatever you can pull, put out the sprinklers, do something. I don't know.
I don't know. The way, after the Aletti accident, the way debris was just scattered all over the track, I'll show you a green turtle shell technique. We'll get you there.
How about a blue shell from Extended? That might work, huh?
Yeah, we're going to need to load up the whole league with the blue shells. But awesome. So, Twitch, let's give it up. He's already gone, but your winner, 6 in a row, McSendit. Mebe, who doesn't have the microphone, give him some love, came up P2 tonight. And then our man that we're talking to right now, Nick Dahi, bringing it home in 3rd. Well, I guess I can't say gentleman. Nick, my gentleman. Congratulations.